Hey everyone, my name is Travis Peace with Novum Home Loans here in San Antonio, Texas. I'm a Naval Academy grad, 5-year Navy veteran. I've been a senior executive at some of the largest mortgage companies and real estate companies in the entire world. So I've seen the importance of making sure that veterans like us understand the importance of what I think is the most significant financial benefit you get from being a veteran, which is your VA loan. So let's get started with some of the basics. First off, what really is a VA loan? I see a lot of veterans with a misunderstanding of what a VA loan even is. So let's start with a couple of things that it's not. First off, the VA is not lending you money, and the VA is not setting mortgage rates for VA loans. A lender will do that. What the VA does do is they provide lenders a bunch of guidelines. It's literally a big, thick book of rules that if the lender follows, the VA will guarantee a portion of that mortgage should you as the borrower not make a payment on that VA loan. That's a big deal for lenders to have that guarantee because it makes VA loans generally safer than other types of loans, which allows lenders to offer VA loans at substantially lower rates. This all works if the lender knows what they're doing with VA loans and understands all the details of those guidelines that they have to follow as they're originating that loan for you. This is why it's critically important to find a lender who really knows VA loans, where the process can be more confusing and just take longer and maybe even have some additional costs for you than it should. Also, the VA and military branches, they don't endorse lenders. So don't get fooled by any branding or any marketing tactics that otherwise would make you think that that's true. To find a lender, you're a vet. Leverage your network. Everybody knows somebody that they trust in this business, so reach out to them. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about who is eligible for a VA loan. So like anything else in the government, VA loan eligibility is complicated. It's got grids that are based off of when you served, what type of service, were you National Guard, were you active duty? But generally speaking, if you were active duty for 90 consecutive days, you're likely eligible. If you were a reservist or National Guard for 24 consecutive months, you're likely eligible. If you're a surviving spouse, you're likely eligible. Now I say likely because there's a lot of nuances on if you're eligible or not. The best way to find out if you're eligible, just go to va.gov. It's pretty easy to find what's called a certificate of eligibility or a COE. You're going to need this document later in the loan process anyways. You can reach out to the VA yourself and find it, or you can just call a lender and they'll pull it up for you also. To get your COE, you're going to need your DD-214. If you have a service disability award letter, you might need that. It takes about, 5 to 10 minutes to fill out a form. And then the VA will send you a letter. It's literally your certificate of eligibility in the mail. Usually takes a few days after you fill it out online. So now you should know if you are eligible or not. Let's talk a little bit about some of the specific benefits. Okay, so obviously the benefit that makes VA loans so unique is the 0% down payment option. Now, obviously with a VA loan, you can make as large of a down payment as you want to lower that principal balance, which will then lower your monthly payment. But the 0% option is really what makes this such a unique feature of VA loans. Another major feature of VA loans is that they don't require mortgage insurance. Typically with conventional loans or FHA loans, you're going to have to pay a few $100 every month in mortgage insurance to help insure your loan if for some reason you don't make the payments. Like I mentioned earlier, the VA is already doing that, which is why you don't have to pay mortgage insurance. An important caveat to this is what's called the VA funding fee, which is something you'll pay at closing. This is more of a one-time administrative fee than an insurance fee that you pay every month. And it's something that you can also lump into the loan amount itself. If your VA service disability is over 10%, you don't have to worry about the VA funding fee. Another benefit of a VA loan is there's technically no minimum credit score required. Now, this doesn't mean you can qualify for a VA loan if your FICO is 400, but what it does mean is that you could qualify for a VA loan when other loans may not be an option for you. We already mentioned the next benefit. Because the VA is backing that loan with a guarantee, that reduces the risk for the lender, which makes interest rates for VA loans typically much lower than other types of mortgages. All right, so now let's get into some of the types of VA loans. The first type of VA loan is what most people use it for, which is to buy a primary residence. This can be either land or a single family home. I should point out that single family is defined as anything 4 units and below. So single family applies to duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes. This is what makes VA loans such a great option when you're PCSing around and you want to use it as a way to get into investment properties. You can buy a duplex, a triplex, or a fourplex with your VA loan, as long as you're using one of those units as your primary residences, and you can rent out the other 1, 2, or 3 units. Another type of loan, and I would really consider this a benefit of the VA loan, is a streamlined refinance option called the Interest Rate Reduction Refinance Loan, or ERL for short. What it does is it allows you to lower your monthly payment by simply rolling your principal balance for your VA loan into a lower interest rate. What makes it streamlined is your lender can basically assume that your income, the appraised value, your credit is all the same as when you first bought your primary residence, so they don't have to pull all of that data again. That greatly reduces the cost and timeline associated with the refinance process, hence the streamlined name. Now, to be clear, there are still some fees associated with it, so it's not totally free, but it is a much more efficient way to lower your monthly payment than other options you would have with other types of loans. Another type of VA loan is a cash out refinance, which is exactly that. It allows you to refinance your loan to take cash out of the equity you've built up in that home. If you're in Texas like me, unfortunately, VA cash outs are not an option for you. But if you're not in Texas, this could be a great opportunity for you to tap into that equity that you've built up over time. Most lenders with a VA cash out will let you take up to 90% of the value of your home, which is a lot higher than other types of cash out refinances. Finally, there are some other specific things you can put your VA loan towards, like energy efficient upgrades and some repairs, but talk to your lender about that because every situation is different. Okay, so let's get into the VA loan process itself. It is critically important to start your VA loan process before you start looking at homes with an agent. To get started, it's pretty easy. You'll go to your lender's website and start filling out an application like you would pretty much any other type of mortgage. Every lender uses a different type of software to take an application, but it's typically going to take you anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes to fill out the application. Now, if you're watching this because you're trying to help a parent or somebody who's not tech savvy get a VA loan, you can always call the lender and they can take your information over the phone and fill out the application for you. Now, here's something else to keep in mind. Make sure you're upfront about everything with your lender early in the process. Remember, your lender is on your side. They want to help you find a way to get across the finish line with your VA loan just as much as you do. So don't hide anything from your lender, or it's just going to cause problems later on down the line when other things have been put in motion. All right, once you've filled out your application, you'll then get what's called a pre-approval letter from your lender. Every lender's pre-approval process is different, so make sure you're asking your lender if this is a true pre-approval or if it's just a pre-qualification. And a pre-qualification typically means that the lender is giving themselves an out in case something comes up later on down the process. You want to get into details early with your lender so that you have confidence that if you find a home that you love with that pre-approval letter, you're going to slide through the qualification process. So let's say you found the perfect home with your agent, the seller has accepted your offer, and you're ready to move forward with the actual mortgage process itself. This is also where you can start to shop for another lender if you don't feel like you've found a lender that you trust yet. Now, once your lender gets that contract, it's going to kick off a series of events. Each lender's process is always slightly different, but generally speaking, the process to underwrite your loan is going to generally be the same. They're going to need a few things from you: bank statements, pay stubs, or your LES if you're still active duty. They'll order an appraisal from a VA approved appraiser. They're going to order title insurance. And there's usually some sort of portal that the lender has to where you can easily upload your documents. This is also when you're going to need to have that DD-214 and that service disability award letter ready. The sooner you upload all the information that your lender requests, the quicker and easier the entire process is going to go. Now, this entire process is going to take anywhere from, I've seen it done in 10 days, all the way to 45 days if a lender is backed up. This is where having a good lender who knows VA loans will really matter on the timeline associated with how long it takes to get your loan processed. It also has to do with how quickly they get the appraisal back from a VA approved appraiser and how quickly you can get them all the information they need so that they can get your loan approved and get you to closing table so that you can get your keys. All right, so that's a general overview of how the VA loan works and how you can utilize it. I hope you found this information valuable. If you did, feel free to like this video, and give us a follow. Throw any questions that you may have in the comments below, and we'll make sure to respond to those for you. Go to our website, www.novumhomeloans.com, or click any of those other links in the comments to get in touch with us. Thanks for watching. Go Navy.